Well, good morning, everybody. So the other day, last week, I was at the breakfast table with my kids, and my daughter was eating Lucky Charms. And she asked me a question. She said, "Dad, when you were a kid, did you eat Lucky Charms?" And I said, "Yeah, I used to eat Lucky Charms as a kid. It was one of my favorite cereals. It's not very healthy, but I did enjoy eating it as a kid." And my son, he piped up and said, "Yeah, Lucky Charms, they've been around forever." And I said, "Well, I think, they've been around for a long time. They haven't been around forever. But when I was a kid, they were around," I said. But I told him, not many things have been around forever. And that kind of got me thinking a little bit. The truth is, a lot of the things that we see in life, that we experience, that we enjoy, a lot of the things that we're nostalgic about, that we appreciated as a kid, those are things that have only been around for a short season. Those are things that have a shelf life. In fact, if you go back a couple hundred years, the house you grew up in, the neighborhood you're in, that wouldn't have been around at all. Or you go back 500 years, really there was nothing in this country. Not many things stand the test of time. Not many things last forever. But you see here in the Psalms, in particular Psalm 125, the author of this psalm, which is one of the songs of the Ascents that we've been talking about, he begins by talking about something that lasts forever. And you've got to hear about it. So let me just read it right now. I'm going to start with verse 1. He says this: "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved or cannot be shaken, but abides forever." Now, what is he talking about here? Well, he's specifically talking about Mount Zion. So we've talked about this a little bit. In the middle of Jerusalem, which is also sometimes called Zion, there's a mountain, there's a hill, and at the top of the hill, that's where the temple was. And so what he's saying is that just like that mountain lasts forever, he's comparing that mountain to the Lord. Those who trust in the Lord, they're like the ones trusting in something that's enduring. In fact, if you go to Jerusalem today and you visit that city, you'll see the same mountain that was there well over 2,000 years ago when this psalm was written. We don't know exactly when it was written, but it was over 2,000 years ago. The person who wrote about that mountain and looked at it back then, it's the very same mountain today. It abides, it continues. It's lasted the test of time. And the person who wrote this says, in the same way, those who trust in the Lord, they're trusting in something enduring, something lasting, something that cannot be moved or cannot be shaken. And then he continues and he says this: "As the mountains surround Jerusalem," so Jerusalem is in the midst of a mountain range. "As those mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forevermore." And so the whole point of what he's saying right here is he's trying to encourage his reader to trust in God in the midst of difficulty. Because so often we are surrounded by all kinds of challenges, all kinds of struggles, all kinds of issues. Right now in this country, many of you, maybe you're overwhelmed. You're feeling surrounded, inundated with problems and concerns about your finances, about your health, about what's going to happen with going back to work, about what you're going to do with your kids, about homeschooling. All these things we're surrounded with. But see here, this amazing word of encouragement from the psalmist is the truth is those things will fade. The struggles, the challenges you're facing, those have a shelf life. They will not last forever. But see, one thing will endure. It's the Lord, and it's those who have faith in the Lord. And in the midst of the moments where we feel surrounded, just know that the Lord, he surrounds his people as the mountains surround Jerusalem, and he surrounds his people. He's with us, he's for us, and he'll never, ever leave us. From this time forth and forevermore, the Lord endures.